On this episode of the Layover Live, Jasmyn Goodwin stops by to talk about the importance of storytelling. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 135 of the Layover Live, where we bring you the top article from the Layover each week. I'm Jason Swick, VP of Digital Marketing, joined by special guest today, Jasmyn Goodwin of Visit Omaha. So, Jasmyn, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here because we're talking a little bit about storytelling today. And I think one of the most important things that we can do as marketers during the pandemic is staying connected to our audiences. And we do this in many ways across many channels, like our own websites and through our social media and through our email marketing efforts. But it's not enough to just post content if we hope to keep our audiences engaged. And the best way to connect with them is by finding creative ways to tell a story, one that can help boost your content marketing and therefore your engagement efforts. And why do we do this? Well, it's because a story makes the solution we are offering more accessible and relatable to the end user. Now, our article of the week this week comes from Search Engine Journal and talks about storytelling during COVID-19. And in this article, the author does a really good job of giving a recap of a recent keynote that was given by Ann Handley. And if any of you out there follow digital marketing at all, you know who Ann is. She's one of the top content marketers out there today. But in this, Ann mentions really three things that are out there that help tell a good story. One is that there is a hero that we can relate to. Two, a villainous challenge that's at hand. And then three, an epic struggle to resolution. So does that sound familiar to anybody right now with everything that's going on? For sure, right? But during this pandemic, it seems like everything is changing. But Ann touches on two things that really don't change when we think about it. And that is that your purpose out there, right? Your why. And also the hero or the person that you're trying to help. And for many DMOs out there, that's the traveler. So on the flip side are things that do change, and that is how we tell our stories. And our special guest today is someone whose destination is no stranger to being creative and telling great stories. So I'm excited again to be joined by Jasmyn Goodwin, who is the Interim VP of Marketing and Communications for Visit Omaha. So Jasmyn, again, welcome to the show. And maybe just a little background for everybody out there who maybe doesn't know who you are.
Sure. Well, I've been around for a long time now. I've been with Visit Omaha for 13 years. It was 13 years this year. And I started off as the assistant PR and marketing assistant and grew. And as everything went towards digital and social media, I moved into the social media role. And as things continued to grow and our team expanded, I moved into the director of marketing. And now I am serving as interim VP.
Yeah, it's a good time, right? I'm sure we're keeping you busy. The world's keeping you busy right now, right? There's a few things going on, which is
Talk about why a crazy time.
It really is. And I tell you what, but I'm really excited to have you here because you guys do some really creative things in Omaha. And now, before we jump into some of those creative things, I want to talk a little bit about the DMO. And you guys really, recently switched from your kind of intermission message to now, sharing more of a take back the weekend campaign, which I really like. So, what was your strategy then behind this new campaign? Because it's very creative.
Thank you. Intermission came during a time when we were all trying to just figure out, one, what's happening, and two, how do we respond? But something that we all had in common is this feeling of uncertainty. So we wanted to send out a message of hope. And so we kind of restructured our website around the message of intermission, where we were trying to tell out-of-towners and locals, we're going to get through this together. Travel's going to come back. For now, let's just hunker down and, enjoy inspirational photography, videos. We were really trying to send out a hopeful message. And as well as being transparent about how COVID-19 was impacting our community during that time. So as our major attractions, the hotels, the restaurants all started to open with health and sanitation protocols in place, we kind of shifted that message, going from hopeful to now looking forward, looking toward the future, but also being transparent about the the fact that everything has changed. So Take Back the Weekend is, we borrow a lot of a language from the video that we created, a commercial spot to go with it. But it's all about disconnecting from those devices that we've all become so wonderfully connected and attached to and reliant on, disconnecting and then taking the time to reconnect with our friends and family with weekend getaways. We are targeting that message to regional cities, folks that are familiar with Omaha, who are comfortable with us, who have probably visited in the past, because right now we all need something familiar.
Yeah, that's a good point to make, and again, it's a smart strategy, right? With this, we're starting to feel like a little bit of a shift, right? People, I think, are getting a little bit more comfortable and saying, hey, it is okay to travel now, but it is going to start with those drive market audiences, right? So that Take Back the Weekend campaign, I think, is a good strategy and a step in that direction. But you guys have also done, even before this, had done some really creative things, right? Thinking of, how you guys personified the bridge in your destination, now even created the troll named Omar. So tell us a little bit about Bob the Bridge, right? It's pretty famous, and Omar. What was the thought process in creating them? Because it's a way to take something that normally you wouldn't do something like that with, and really provide a lot of buzz around the destination. So talk about those two, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'll try to be brief. I tend to ramble on when I'm talking about Bob and Omar because they're fun and exciting, but for us. But personifying Bob came about because we were really looking for something that could be, that could symbolize Omaha. We didn't have that one shot of something that no matter where you are in the country, you can see it and automatically think of Omaha. So we have this beautiful bridge that connects Omaha with Council Bluffs in Iowa. And we were like, well, it connects 150 miles of walking trails. It's beautiful. Like, let's bring this to life. And so we did it. We gave Bob a video blog, Twitter, Instagram, and it's become a really fun way for folks to engage with him. People who go on the bridge, they go bobbing, and that's when you stand on the state line in the middle of the bridge and you kind of stand over it and take a selfie. That's considered bobbing. So folks go out there, they're taking their photos, they're tagging Bob or not tagging. Either way, Bob's interacting with folks. They really enjoy that. The video blogs, we use those as a way of telling folks how to experience Bob. So if you go jogging on Bob, you're kind of giving him a massage. He loves pets. He loves your four-legged animals. He loves babies. He loves families, just all these different things that you can do to experience the great outdoors, to be active. Last year, Bob started pushing a 0.9K because when you go across him, you've done a 0.9K. And the tagline is, you don't have to be in shape, you just have to be a shape. And if you complete it and take a photo, you can go to our visitor center and get a cool bumper sticker and actually put it on your car to remember your time with Bob. So we've had fun the past few years playing with Bob, reaching out to people, connecting. But we knew we had to take the campaign to the next level, do something different. And that's when we realized, every bridge needs a troll. And so that's kind of where Omar came from. And he symbolizes the traveler in all of us, always curious, always looking for new experiences, open to meeting new people. We always joke that he represents the best in all of us. So Omar lives under Bob. He sits on top of his house and he welcomes people depending on what angle you're coming toward Bob from. You can see him kind of waving to you. And we've let folks know, you rub his toe for good luck. He's a huge statue. And he's also got a book that folks can go to the visitor center to pick up. And the book just kind of tells how he had an adventure going throughout the city till he found his home underneath the bridge. So that's our fun little Omar guy. And oh, I'm sorry. And there are also signs along the bridge where families can use their phones, scan a QR code, and Omar comes to life. And he's telling kids, you can be a troll like me. Just hop 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and you become a bridge troll. There are lots of little fun videos like that.
Yeah, Jasmine, I love this in so many ways. One is to take, some piece of infrastructure, right, and personify it. And the way you guys have expanded on it, right, and made it creative and fun and interactive. It appeals again for photo ops, appeals to families in many different ways. And then to expand on it now with Omar, to take it to another level, I think is really, really, really a smart and creative idea that you guys have done an unbelievably good job with. There and again, I highly encourage you out there, if you're watching this, to go check it out. They've done an amazing job with this and personified this thing. It's awesome. And now to talk about Omar then a little bit, what are some of the next steps, maybe, because we're part of it? What are some of the next steps for Omar then? You guys got any fun plans for him in the future?
Yes, we do, actually, coming up later on this month. So this was the perfect time for us to have a chat. Uh, Last week, actually, we put new signs on the bridge, and they include 2 different QR codes. Now, Omar is bilingual. So you've got one English option and one Spanish option. So all of the signs have been updated. But later on this month, we are unveiling Omar's walking stick. And it's going to be this 6 foot tall walking stick that's going to look as if it were placed by Omar there once he realized this is where my home will be, underneath Bob Bridge. And next to it will be a sign, like a rustic looking sign, where folks can scan a QR code or enter in omarthetroll.com and see a storybook come to life that tells the story of how Omar came from a raindrop that fell to the ground, and how he spent his life traveling the world, seeing all different types of people and places, and finally realizing why he wanted to make Omaha his home. So it's a really fun story, very colorful, interactive. It's something that families can put on their phones and kind of cuddle up with Omar and watch together. We're really excited about it, and if all goes well, it'll be up and running at the end of this month.
Boy, that's great. I think I'm excited for you as well. And we talked about the theme this week being storytelling, and that is taking storytelling to the next level, right? For you guys to give Omar this origin story and to make it interactive and fun, I think is a really, I hate to say thinking outside the box, but it really is. It's something that gets overused a lot, but I think you guys have done a great job of building the story around this, which is fantastic. So one thing I want to ask you then, before we wrap up, Jasmyn, is really some advice, right? I like to ask other destination marketers who are great at what they do, and you're one of those, is really like, what advice do they have for other destination marketers out there? Because I think it's important during these times of the pandemic, with all the great storytelling that you guys have done and the great programs you have, to get different perspectives on things and what others are doing and have found success with in their particular destination. So maybe in leaving, like, what advice do you have then for some of your fellow destination marketers out there?
I would have said, like a couple months ago, I would have said be flexible, because we all kind of had to scramble, and I'm sure everyone was in the same boat we were in, where we were removing advertising and kind of shifting dollars and trying to figure out, okay, what is the rest of this year going to look like? So I would say my biggest takeaway from COVID was to always be flexible, and always be ready to shift your plans based off of current events and what's happening. But also, we really took the time in quarantine to try to be as creative as possible. And, when a lot of your resources are taken away, it really just leaves your imagination. And what can you do and how can you get it done? And social media is still a easy platform that we can jump on and use. So think outside the box, be creative. I've seen a lot of other DMOs doing some really creative, awesome things. So that would be it. Stay flexible and be creative.
Yeah, really, really good advice there, and I agree with you. Right, flexibility is very important as we have to. We've had to pivot and wear many hats. As DMOs before, we had to always wear many hats, but now so more than ever, and especially in new territory. And then the creative part, I love that. And again, you guys have done just that. Being creative is important. This is a time to try new things, right? And don't be afraid to fail and see what sticks. You have the shelter of the pandemic to try some different things out that you may not be able to get away with under normal times. So stretch that creativity, be flexible, and try those new things. So that's great advice. So Jasmyn, thanks for coming on today. And again, folks, if you don't or haven't rather gone and checked this out, go check it out. They've done an absolutely stand-up job with this particular I'll call it a campaign, but with Bob the Bridge and Omar. It's really, really cool to see. So Jasmyn, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
You bet. And thanks for tuning in each and every week. If you're not subscribed, please do so now. We're also available on Spotify and iTunes if you want to absorb us through audio podcasts. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time, and have a great day.